Hello everybody, welcome back to Ghostly French Toast, and today we're talking about Seath the Scaleless. And first of all, I just really want to apologize um about last week and not uploading. I'm very sorry. Um I'm looking to have 2 videos out this week for you guys. I was just not in the best headspace and I wasn't feeling the greatest, so I want to apologize. So yeah, we're talking about Seath the Scaleless. Finally, I feel like I've dodged this topic for so long. So yeah, enough dawdling around, let's dive on in. Basics, as we know. First of all, one of the last final hurdles of DS1. So you have Nito, Bit of Chaos, which is going to be in Night Rain, 100%, I think. And you have the 4 Kings. On all of these guys have Lord Souls that are presented from Gwyn. Magic-based boss. One of the few magic-based bosses in the game, which is kind of funny. A lot of the bosses in all the games don't really. There's not that many magic-based bosses, which I find kind of funny, even in the Elden Ring. Friend of Gwyn's. After basically snitching on his friends and being like, hey, we'll talk about the old spoiler. Hey, lightning, it peels back our scales. He's also an ancient dragon, even though his looks like he should be in Tears of the Kingdom, some shit like that. He is an ancient dragon. He's just, as the name implies, scaleless. The ancient dragons themselves basically opposed Gwyn's Age of Fire as a whole. The whole concept itself came before Gwyn's age. So these guys ruled the world before Gwyn, and then the cycle repeats with a new age. All that. It was the age of ancient dragons. Where they flew around in these big trees, all that. It was kind of funny, kind of silly, goofy. It had scales of stone, and that was kind of a big problem that Gwyn and his armies faced, trying to basically break through this armor, because they were just they were struggling a lot until Seath was jealous, and he turned on them, and helped Gwyn break their scales by giving them the secret of how to break their scales. Snitch the bitch. Was jealous of the ancient dragons as a whole. He was also born scaleless, developed crystals as a form of scale, which I think is a very interesting concept, where I think sorcery is a byproduct of Seath trying to figure out how to make scales, because if you look at the crystal textures on the bottom of his torso, it's all covered in crystals. So I think crystal sorcery, Seath wasn't trying to make sorcery, he was just trying to make a new scale, and by byproduct he made sorcery, where people basically interpreted sorcery or interpreted his scales into sorcery, if that makes any sense. As founded sorcery in the Gwyn's age, the Duke's Archives. Gwyn gave him lordship after the war, because he kind of basically carried the entire team. If Gwyn didn't know that he needed to use lightning to basically peel back their scales, what's the bro doing? Bro's kind of cooked. Gave him the Duke's Archives to conduct his research in making some scales on his body, which I think is a very interesting thing, because even though sorcery kind of opposed Gwyn's order as a whole, like if you look at Gwendolyn, his sorcery is kind of heretical. He heavily relied on Seath, and he gave him part of the Lord's Soul, which I think is interesting. Spread his time in there, that is, and he basically went mad. Supposed to be spent his time in the Duke's Archives, and basically went mad because of it. The endless research, something we see throughout the series, all people who study sorceries, it's this cosmic, similar to Elden Ring, this cosmic primeval force that Seath uncovered to use as scales, and he basically went mad. Many sorcerers hunt for the archives to gain knowledge, as we know the Big Hat Logan. There's many reasons why he's called Big Hat Logan. I'd like to see you guys guess why he's called Big Hat Logan. Priscilla, daughter of Seath and Guinevere. They kind of got down to business, if you will. Basically a hybrid child of the two. Gwyn basically feared the kid because multiple reasons. One of the most dangerous things in the Age of Fire itself, because yes, you have the Abyss, but this was during the Age of Fire. Where Priscilla is basically able to harm the gods with a life hunt scythe. Basically able to suck life out of the opponent, even if it's like a god. Like if you hit a god, like it's gonna do some big damage, not gonna lie. So Gwyn basically threw her into the painted world and basically locked her away. And I do think Seath had some backlash to that, to be honest, because like it's his kid. And throughout looking at the entire history of Lordran, Seath kind of like an exile. There's not really much to do with Seath. You got the Moonlight Butterfly, but like most of it is where you have other gods influencing many parts of the world. Like Izalith influences Blight Town. Nito inhabits the entire catacombs and basically deals with the dead and all that. Seath doesn't really do much in the Grand Order, so I think Seath went into like kind of reclusiveness after like, hey, like you took my kid away kind of thing, you know? And finally, you can't talk about Seath without talking about Dear Duke Freya. Dark Souls 2 Legacy boss. What I mean by that is when you kill this boss, you get a part of its fragment of the Pale One's soul. Has Seath magic. That's where you get the Moonlight Greatsword in the game. It's kind of silly, goofy. Carries old Pale Drake one soul. And yeah, I know this is a quick video. I'm just not feeling aggressive. I need to blow my nose. Thank you all for watching. I'll have 2 videos out this week. I'm really sorry once again. And I'll see you guys next time on Go Sleep French Toast. Bye bye.